Welcome to Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell, where we'll give a listen to a number of tracks from the band's forthcoming retrospective featuring several hit singles, fan favorites, and live tracks. It becomes available on July 24th. I'm Andy Hall, and for the next hour, my special guests are M. Sean Cran, otherwise known as The Clown, and Corey Taylor, who has so many aliases Apollo Creed would be jealous.
Yeah, Big Mouth is pretty much Fat Mouth is the favorite right now.
I still like the Great Big Mouth.
Yeah, Fat Neck, Great Big Mouth.
Great to have you both. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having us.
This collection of songs from your first 12-plus years was a pretty hands-on experience for the band, particularly you, Clown. How so?
Basically, I made it known that I hate greatest hits, I hate best of. The best I'll give you is compilation. So it's really cool because you get a bunch of songs that have been put in an order by us. So whether listening to it by yourself or with your friends, you're hearing songs go into other songs that not even a machine would put together. So it's a unique experience. Plus you get artwork. You know, I'm always trying to make iconic artwork. And then on top of it, you get a random disc, 2009 download festival. And then on top of that, did a bunch of remixes where I took two elements of two songs on. The best I'll give you is compilation.
Corey, the sequencing of the tracks really walks the listener through the chronological history of this band from 1999 on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, we've kind of been a band that has the best of both worlds. You know, we have the unlikely radio hits, but then we have the anthems that people have really made hits, you know, and that's really why we are where we are. The fans put us where we are, you know? So to me, this is kind of for them, but at the same time, this is kind of a tribute to Paul. These are the Paul years. Obviously, this band is going to move forward. We're going to do what we have to do. But at the same time, this is kind of our way of kind of, you know, celebrating Paul as well, you know? This just kind of showing the world what, you know, he was with us to accomplish.
Let's take a listen to one of the tracks that helped set the tone for this band very early in the game. From Slipknot's Antennas to Hell, out July 24th, Spit It Out on the Slipknot Radio Network. From Slipknot's self-titled debut album that will be featured on Antennas to Hell coming out July 24th, Spit It Out. Corey and Clown are my guests. My name's Andy Hall. I'm curious, once you were signed, how many songs had already been written and were essentially ready to record, and how many came about through your first studio sessions with Ross Robinson?
The great thing was we had so many songs ready to go. Even the songs that changed a little bit, the essence was there. It was just about capturing the moment and capturing that ferocity and just kind of letting us be us. I mean, to be honest, nobody had really seen anything like us before. We were a band that backed everything up. It wasn't just a show. It was everything. You know, we were living it. We were smelling it. We were breathing it. And sometimes it's hard to capture that on tape. But Ross was really the perfect producer for us. He helped us kind of make certain songs level with the songs that were really ready to go. I mean, that's what was really great about Ross, was he saw so much potential in us. He gave us the confidence to become Slipknot. Before that, we were ready to work, but we didn't realize who we were. And Ross really got us out of that shell and gave us the confidence to become, you know, we are Slipknot. You know, instead of we're in Slipknot, we are Slipknot. And that's something that I'll never ever take away from him, just being the perfect person in that perfect moment to get us to make that album.
Gonna hear Wait and Bleed next. What stood out most to me about this one was the song structure and the decision to start with the chorus.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, wow, this is different for a metal band.
Yeah. That was a song that we worked on in the basement. We had all this great material, and this was, I think, like the second song that we wrote together as a band after I had joined the band. And one of the reasons that I was asked to join was because of my melodic style, obviously. And they were like, we need a song that incorporates that. And they were like, do you have any ideas? So I just sat down and I just started writing the chorus, sitting on the steps at your old house. You remember that? And I started singing it, and then the music just started to kind of come together, and it became such a crazy beast. It's one of the first schizophrenic songs I think anybody's ever heard.
If there was one song that really put Slipknot on the map, it was this one, Wait and Bleed on the Slipknot Radio Network. Welcome back to Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell, highlighting some of the band's biggest hits, fan favorites, and live tracks in stores July 24th. Andy Hall joined by The Clown and Corey Taylor. A busy summer for this band, headlining the Rockstar Mayhem Festival track, which runs into early August. Then a couple weeks to prepare for the inaugural Knotfest. It's got to be a dream come true for this idea to finally come to fruition.
We've been talking about that for 10 years. Yeah. I mean,
it's quite the dream. I just actually drove to Somerset, which is the second show, and I swore I'd never play at this venue.
Oh yeah,
and so did other members because there was just
every time we went there, it was gnarly. Like the first time we played there was Ozfest '99.
Paul got hurt.
I got hurt.
You
remember
got
that?
hurt.
They were gonna arrest me and Paul both. Paul got punched. I had a security guard in giant steel-toed boots, came down on my leg, almost broke it. You got maced in the face. I caught a big thing of it.
No, I got maced down my throat.
Down your throat. Yeah, I got maced in the face.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, long story short, it was gnarly. This was right after we had just met the mayor of Somerset.
They made us sign a release form that we wouldn't start a riot for what happened.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I might not have been able to play because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
My face was swollen. And I was like, well, the last thing I'm thinking about, but they're like, you got to play because if you don't play, people might get mad and then start a riot. And so, like, I'd played like 16 measures, turn around, paramedic be there, hit me with adrenaline, hit me with oxygen. And it was just, and on top of it, you know, without saying too much, there are a lot of bad elements there that were not friendly to our fans.
Yeah.
And we just got tired of watching it on stage. So we pretty much said we'd never play there. But I went there the other day and they've cleaned it up. It's beautiful. It's different. It is going to be the apocalypse. I mean, you're going to walk in and it's going to be a ritual and you're going to be scared. You're going to walk in and you go, I'm being watched. I'm scared for my life. But by the end of it, the fear is going to become part of the adrenaline and the rush, and you'll get all these great bands that are friends of ours.
Yeah,
It's been a dream for a long time for Knotfest. Yeah, and you know, it's all based around fear. So
our next selection from Slipknot's Antennas to Hell taught us the only way to slowly stop the ache. This is Duality on the Slipknot Radio Network. Duality to be featured on Slipknot's Antennas to Hell in stores July 24th. Andy Hall here with Corey Taylor and the Clown. Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, was a sizable leap for this band, not only in terms of songwriting, but also the headspace of Slipknot's 9 members in comparison to its predecessor, Iowa.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it was the birth of this Slipknot. I mean, it was the growing pains of getting beyond what was expected of us and becoming what we could be, you know? I mean, we talked about confidence earlier on. We had started to kind of really become very confident in our abilities and whatnot, and to get to the point where it was like, okay, we've done this. We need to do this now. Because we wanted to be the band that the fans wouldn't know what to expect. They had gotten that on pretty much every level, you know? I mean, we release the self-titled, and then with Iowa, we come out, everybody's expectations that, oh, it's just going to be self-titled part 2 and blah, 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 blah. And it's going to be shiny and new and like the love boat of metal. And we just hit them with Angel of Death being played at Hiroshima, basically. And then after that, you know, they're like, okay, well, we're going to expect, you know, the darkest, blah, 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 blah. And we give them basically our Sgt. Pepper, where we just say, okay, yes, we've got all of this heaviness, but guess what? This is also what we do, and this is also what we excel at. And, oh, by the way, we write really good songs. So here you go. So Volume 3 was really the foundation for the future for us, basically. It allowed us to get to the point where we had trained the fans to expect the unexpected, no matter what that is.
This next track broke the streak of 6 Grammy nominations without a golden trophy. Also included as part of the collection known as Antennas to Hell, coming out July 24th, Before I Forget. Welcome back to Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell. Andy Hall hanging with Corey Taylor and the Clown, representing the pride of the 515 as we take a look back at this band's first 12-plus years of existence. The end of the beginning, as I've heard it described, which is interesting. Knowing both of you personally, I can't imagine either one of you really look at it that way.
This is kind of a sore subject with me. In no way, shape, or form is there an end of an era and a beginning of a new era. There's 9 guys. Obviously, Paul is one of them. When the time is right to even remotely think about what's going to be. He's still going to be one of the original 9. There will never be anybody to take that over. If there were to be someone new, they're not going to have a number. They'll be a part of us, but it'll be a different thing. But there's only 9. And in no way, shape, or form is this, let's let it all go and let's get on to something new. I personally won't allow it for myself. I can't speak for anybody else. I won't. Everybody takes it different. His relationship was different with everybody. With me, I see him on stage. There's songs that he's written that will be a part of it. I don't care if we go another 20 years. He'll still be on stage. I'll still see him. Every day I'll hear a new story. He's one of the original 9. That will never change. I'm not accepting that, okay, this is done, and now we all need to think about this, because that's just not who we are. We're not in the studio right now because I don't think any one of us want to walk in and not see him. When we're ready to do that, it's heavy, man. You're going to walk through the door, instead of thinking, where am I sleeping? You're going to go, you know, this is hard, but let's do this. And he's going to be right there. So there is no end of an era, and there is no beginning of an era. There's just Slipknot. We just keep going, and we just do the best we can, and we take what is given, and we just rock it. If anything, man, he's going to be a large part of what the future is going to be. 9, you know what I mean? There can always be extra, but there's 9, and it'll always be that way forever, and nothing has ended. He's still on the rocket, just can't see him.
We're diving into your most recent album, All Hope Is Gone, with the next track, which will be featured on Antennas to Hell when it drops July 24th. Psychosocial on the Slipknot Radio Network. One of my all-time favorites from Slipknot, that was Psychosocial, one of 19 tracks you will enjoy come July 24th when Antennas to Hell is released. I'm Andy Hall. In studio with me are Corey Taylor and The Clown. Another massive hit from 2008 was Dead Memories, about as blatantly personal to you, Corey, as any set of lyrics you'd ever written. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was kind of the tail end of a part of my life when that song came into being, you know, and I'd kind of been writing a lot of stuff down just to get it down. Lo and behold, when the music started coming in for All Hope Is Gone, I had all these lyrics that I was just like, oh, this works here and that works there. And Dead Memories was a piece that I had kind of written by itself, that was just sitting in a notebook, and I was just like, oh, this is really, really cool, you know, and I fleshed it out a little bit. It was basically just kind of putting the period at the end of a sentence that I'd kind of been holding on to, you know, and I needed to let it go. And that song, you know, it's still heavy to sing live, you know. There's a lot of stuff that comes up. It's one of those songs that represents the maturity of my life, whereas a lot of the songs that we've written in the past represented stuff when I was growing up, you know, and the turmoil of trying to figure out who I was as a young man. But that song really kind of represented the angst of where I am today in my 30s, and just trying to adjust to that and figure out how to stop making quote-unquote bad decisions and make the right ones, not only for myself, but for my family and whatnot. And that was a big step for me. That was a big part of kind of, I hate the term growing up, but kind of growing into my own skin, you know, and becoming the guy that I am today. And that was a big part of it.
This is Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell with Dead Memories. Welcome back to Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell, as we highlight several tracks from the forthcoming Best Of hitting the racks on July 24th. My name's Andy Hall. Corey and Clown from the band have been my special guests this hour. Make sure, if you don't own a copy already, to grab Clown's new book, The Apocalyptic Nightmare Journey. Stellar photography from the man himself. Got to be very exciting for you.
Very exciting. 11 years in the making, been done for 3. It was my way of being on the road and being a little upset that I didn't finish college. Not the fact that I needed the degree, but that I didn't prove to myself that I could teach myself to learn and get by. So I convinced myself to make the book kind of my own master thesis. So I did everything you can imagine to these Polaroids, medium format Polaroids. They're the kind that you pull out the back, and you got about 7 seconds of chemicals, emulsion, and developing chemicals that, you know, make the picture. So what you see is the only thing we did was we blew them up so you could see more of the detail. And because we had to scan them at high res, because of the glass, we had to give it a little contrast to make the blacks blacks and the whites whites. But what you see is what you get. It's not Photoshop. They're Polaroids.
Corey, Snuff is what we're going to hear next. Did the idea for the lyrics come pretty quickly upon hearing the music that had been written for that one?
Well, I wrote the music for that one. That was seriously my first. It was the first song that I brought in to Slipknot, you know, and you know the irony being, you know, I'd been in the band for about 11 years at that point. It was, you know, one of the most personal songs I'd ever written, and there was something about it that felt like a Slipknot song. And I can remember having conversations with people, and they're like, "Are you sure this feels like a Stone Sour song?" And I was like, "No, this is a Slipknot song." I can remember coming in and listening to the music for the first time after, you know, everybody had kind of done their thing with it, before I'd sang a note on it. And seriously, I broke down. Like, it was so gorgeous and lush and everything that I'd ever wanted it to be. You know, a lot of fans, it's their favorite song, and it's, to me, that, I mean, it just makes it that more special, you know.
The video/short film featured actors Malcolm McDowell and Ashley Lawrence of Hellraiser fame. More with the Clown and Corey after Snuff on the Slipknot Radio Network. Snuff, to be featured on Slipknot's forthcoming release, Antennas to Hell, which is out July 24th. Andy Hall having a blast with my friends Corey Taylor and the Clown, who have been kind enough to share their time with us. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
You know, are we done yet?
Almost.
You're just.
I still got a cigar that's outside that I got to smoke.
We got to recap a lot of things that are going on with this band.
Yeah.
And one of them I want to mention, simultaneously along with the release of Antennas to Hell, is a new mobile app, and this is your first.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is. I've been working on Working Everybody. So we've been working on this almost 3 years, and it's very important. It's dedicated to our fans, and there's some really simple concepts. You know, wear the mask, figure it out. But then there's some other complex, ideas that go with it. But what's great is there's so many elements that I've designed within it that this one app is going to last for years. Like, there's, once it does one thing, then something else will be released for it. Once that wears out its thing, something else, so on and so forth. And then when you got all those elements, all of a sudden this new thing happens with it, and then that will last forever. And then there's the last one that people are just going to be like, you got to be kidding me. And it's just this self-sufficient one concept. Instead of taking money and start having 100 apps, it's just like, we're just self-contained, and it's just like going on any program and you have to download updates. That's kind of what this is going to be. Some will be paid, you know, and some will just be update this now for this opportunity. So very excited about that. Very excited about Antennas to Hell.
Yeah.
We're super stoked on Rockstar Energy Drink Mayhem 2012. We started it way back in the day.
We were the first to headline it. Yeah, 2008.
Great lineup. Guys, we're going to wrap up with a song which originally appeared on the Iowa album and then turned up in a remixed form about a year later on the Resident Evil soundtrack. My Plague. This is Inside Slipknot, Antennas to Hell on the Slipknot Radio Network.